Reading, writing, and listening are all important skills. But when it comes right down to it, the question will always be, can you speak Spanish? Because it is so very important, in today's video, I'm sharing 5 ways you can practice speaking Spanish even if you're a total beginner. For the best advice about moving to Mexico, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I upload a new episode every Thursday. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Alex, and I moved to Mexico from the US in 2017. I've called Querétaro home ever since. Lots of beginners, myself included back in the day, make the mistake of thinking that they need to be at some certain point to begin speaking Spanish. It's like there's some sort of threshold, and once you meet it, you've got the green light to start talking. But if you are serious about learning Spanish, if you want to reap all the benefits of knowing Spanish once you move to and are living in Mexico, then you need to prioritize speaking from day one. Seriously, don't wait. Even if you are a total beginner, you can use the advice, you can use the tips in this video to start practicing speaking Spanish today. Tip number 1. Find someone who'll push you. This first tip is brought to you by Lingoda. Lingoda is the best online language school that I've found for students who actually want to learn how to speak Spanish. During Lingoda's live session classes, the teacher is constantly encouraging you to speak. Having an actual person there pushing you to talk is a total game changer. And even if you are a beginner starting from square one, Lingoda's curriculum is designed in a way that you are always working on those speaking and communication skills. Lingoda focuses on real-life language, like idioms and cultural references, so that you can learn how people actually speak. So when it comes time to converse with the locals, you're ready to go. I love Lingoda because not only are you interacting with your teacher, but you're also getting a chance to chat with your fellow students, which is so fun and so very motivating. The small group classes have a maximum of 5 students, or if you prefer, if it's more your style, you can schedule a one-on-one lesson. In September, Lingoda challenged me to take 5 consecutive days of Spanish classes. You can watch this video next for my full thoughts on the experience. For now, let's just say it was the speaking practice I didn't know I needed. Maybe in past videos, you've heard me talk about the Lingoda Sprint Challenge, and if you've thought, oh, Alex, that's way too intense for me, but you're still interested in learning with Lingoda, then the marathon course or Lingoda's monthly subscription might be a better fit for you. You can test Lingoda out with a free 7-day trial. Use the link in the description box below to get started and to find out how you can get up to 40% off your course fee when you decide to continue learning with Lingoda. Tip number 2, start with a script. For beginner Spanish speakers, scripting is the secret to success. Even though you may not have the skills for a natural conversation, you can still practice speaking by creating and rehearsing a script that mimics a real-life situation. Let's talk a little bit about preparing a script. What is the best way to go about doing that? Now, the first step is to decide what you want to say in English. Play the conversation out in your head, go through it, and that's going to help you figure out any follow-up questions. Go ahead and go through the back and forth. The next step is to translate your script into Spanish. Now, if you're a total beginner, you're gonna be relying pretty heavily on Google Translate. But rather than just copying and pasting your whole text into Google Translate, try to go by word as much as possible. The last step is putting your script into practice. I've got a few more tips for how to make the most of practicing your script, but before we get to those, we've got a bonus tip. When you decide that you want to learn Spanish, looking at the language in its entirety can feel very, very overwhelming. So to break it down, pick a specific niche, a specific topic for where to start. One of my favorite examples of a Spanish student who focused her studies on a specific niche is Michelle from the Move to Mexico membership. Now, Michelle knew that she would be driving down to Mexico, so she had a whole binder with scripts that she was working through, practicing, memorizing in case she got a flat tire, how to communicate when she had to get gas, what to do if she was pulled over by the police, how to communicate at the border with immigration. And that is just such a good way to look at learning Spanish, and really is something that everyone should take into consideration when you are trying to decide where to focus your energy for practicing speaking Spanish. I want to know, what is a specific niche that you would like to focus on for practicing speaking Spanish? Let me know in the comments below. Tip number 3, talk to yourself in the mirror. You've got your script, but that's not going to do you much good unless you practice reading it. One of my favorite ways to practice speaking Spanish on my own, one that you can do even if you are a total beginner, is to talk to yourself in the mirror. Now, I know this will probably seem a little silly at first, but seeing yourself speaking the words is really going to help you get the flow of the language. You're gonna see how your mouth is moving, and that's gonna help you so much with pronunciation. To take this tip even further, yes, even further than talking to yourself in the mirror, I challenge you to record yourself speaking Spanish. You can use the voice memo app on your phone, and no one ever has to hear it except for you. I challenge you to record yourself reading out your little script every day and to listen back to it. You've got to listen back to it, and that's going to really help you improve your pronunciation and improve your confidence. Tip number 4, have a Spanish sing-along. If you only ever listen to music in Spanish, then you are missing out on a huge opportunity to improve your pronunciation and use music to practice speaking Spanish. Singing along to Spanish language music is one of my favorite ways to practice speaking Spanish, and I'm going to give you a few tips to make the most of this exercise. When I find a new song that I like, I open the lyrics, letras, in one tab, and in another tab, I'll open Google Translate. Then I read through the song out loud. No music right now, I just read through it out loud. And when I come across a word that I don't know, I will copy that word, flip over to the other tab, and paste it into Google Translate. For total beginners, one of my favorite songs that I like to recommend for this particular exercise is Girl Like Me by Shakira, because most of the song is in English, but there are parts of it in Spanish, like the chorus, so it's not completely overwhelming to translate the whole thing. That is a really good one to get started with. After that initial translation, I hit play on the song and read through the song while I'm listening to the music, so I'm following along. Now, this part, I give you permission to do it in your head. You really want to focus on the artist, on the musician, the singer's pronunciation of the words that you looked up, the ones that you're not familiar with. Focus on those words, and sometimes I'll even hit pause after one of those words to say the word out loud like I just heard it. Finally, the final step of my process is to go back to the beginning and listen to the song again, all the way through while following along with the lyrics and singing out loud. At this point, I know how the words should sound. I have a feel for the song, and this little karaoke bit is actually pretty fun. Tip number 5, read out loud. When I say read out loud, probably the first thing that comes to your mind is books. For total beginners, children's books are a great place to get started, and then you can keep on advancing as your level of Spanish advances. Of course, books aren't the only way to practice reading out loud. Poetry is another great way, and one of my personal favorites, this is actually something I've just sort of recently begun getting into, is tongue twisters or trabalenguas. Jim and Mai from Spanish and Go have an awesome YouTube video all about Spanish tongue twisters. And over on their blog, on their website, they've got a page as well with 44 Spanish tongue twisters. This is the ultimate guide with audio. I will be sure to put a link in the description below. But in the spirit of practicing speaking Spanish, I'm gonna read a couple of these trabalenguas out loud now. All right, here we go. El perito de Rita me arita, dile a Rita que cambie el perito por una perita. Uf. Un burro comía berros y el perro se los robó. El burro lanzó un rebuzno y el perro al barro cayó. I think I got that one right. Quiero y no quiero querer a quien no queriendo quiero. He querido sin querer y estoy sin querer queriendo. Si por mucho que te quiero, quieres que te quiera más, te quiero más que me quieras. ¿Qué más quieras? ¿Quieres más? I don't think I breathed during that one. In the comments below, I would love to know which one of these tips you plan to implement today to practice speaking Spanish. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up because that really helps to support my channel. I'm Alex from backpackingbrunette.com. Thanks for watching.